All right, week 8 is upon us. I want to make sure you guys are 100% ready to crush week 8 and beyond. How am I going to do it? In this video, I'm going to give you all the optimal waiver wire pickups at each position. And as a bonus, going to be answering as many questions as I can. So drop your starts and sits questions, or if you have any waiver wire questions below, I'll try to get to as many as I can. Drop them below. And also, I'm going to give you guys some of the latest news and notes, including some key injuries that happened over this past weekend that you need to take a note of, as it's going to ripple down into fantasy football production for these players. So, big episode here, right now. We're talking waiver wire week 8. I want to get you guys fully prepared. Smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up, show your energy, drop your questions below, and let's get to it. All right, guys, welcome to the show. What a wild week 7 that we had. I am super pumped. My team was crushing it. Brian Thomas Jr. going off. Josh Allen having a good week. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. Man, oh man, am I excited. Hope you guys are doing well as well. 16 rounders, I know you guys are doing well. If you're not doing well, drop your questions below. Let's see what we can do to try to help you out here. Like I said, I'll answer some questions. If you have any waiver wire questions or any starts and sits. Now, I do a starts and sits episode later during the week in a couple days to make sure you guys are ready as well. If you want direct access for sure, patreon.com/FFCastler to get direct access to me, okay? Let's talk about some latest news and notes here, particularly a couple things that really just kind of stood out over the weekend. Now, there's a couple things that I'm probably missing, some minor things, a concussion here and there, or like a nagging sprain here and there. But these are some of the key ones that jumped out at me over the past weekend. If there is a piece of breaking news that really shined you, drop it in the comments. We'll discuss it. I want to make this interactive, okay? Breaking news here again. Chris Godwin had a dislocated ankle at the end of the game yesterday. Very unfortunate. And just prior to that, Mike Evans was going up for a catch. I put it on my IG. If you're not following Insta, make sure you guys are following my Insta for breaking news on my story. But turn on the bell on Instagram at Fantasy Football Counselor. I did a post with Mike Evans coming down, grabbing his hamstring, looked terrible. So, I mean, this is a huge blow to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who lost yesterday. And I'm telling you, man, it's like, it's been a crazy year with injuries. Knock on wood, you know, God willing, my players have been healthy the entire season. I guess a big part of that, you could say, is luck, but also just making sure you pick the right players prior to the season. That's the 16-round difference, okay? Are they durable? Are they consistent? Are they young? I try to make sure I minimize and mitigate my risk in regards to a potential injury. So, very unfortunate. I'm assuming they're going to be out for a while. I'm going to cover the news as we get to the later episodes as well on the show. I'm going to be doing it in the starts and sits. I'm going to keep you guys on top of the news. So make sure you guys turn on the bell and subscribe, okay? CMC, apparently he's going to be coming back after the week 9 bye. It'll be very interesting to see him coming back and how much integration of Jordan Mason we're going to get. Either way, he's been a bust on the entire season. And in fact, the entire offense of the 49ers has been pretty much banged up, including another thing I want to talk about is the Ayuk injury. A guy that I kept saying, this guy is overrated. This guy is not that good. This guy's a diva. Don't pay him. Don't pay him. Like, I don't get why the 49ers paid him. He went out. He fell out the market. Nobody wanted him. And sure enough, the 49ers like, yeah, we'll just keep him and we're going to pay him a ton of money. He's not worth it. He's not that good. And sure enough, he's hurt. Now you can say, well, Joe, it's an ACL tear. Injuries happen. Yeah, but he's just not that good. He wasn't doing good prior to that. And here we go. Injury, out for the season. Big time waste of money that could have fed an entire town of homeless people. It could have helped somebody with that money. Now we're feeding somebody who doesn't deserve it, who's really arrogant, conceited, into themselves, just overpaid, not performing, and now injured. I'm just not an Ayuk fan at all. I don't like diva players. I like players that are humble, put their head down, and work, and deserve a paycheck, okay? Including guys like Derrick Henry, who's on my fantasy team, who crushed it yesterday. Derrick Henry, yeah. If you're Derrick Henry, yes, pay that guy. I mean, that guy deserves every penny that he gets. But other guys, I mean, it's just like, no, you don't deserve it. You have done nothing to deserve it. So, too bad, so sad, okay? So, Ayuk out for the season, ACL, CMC possibly coming back. That whole 49ers offense is a disaster, okay? That's also, I really want to talk about Jaden Daniels. A lot of people concerned about him and the rib injury. Apparently, he is day-to-day. So, I'm not really concerned. This guy's been crushing it in fantasy. I'm hoping that everything's okay for him moving forward. But Jaden Daniels is going to be good to go. It's the ribs. It wasn't a major, I think it was a minor it wasn't even a fracture, I don't think. I think it was just a blow to the ribs that hurt. Rib injuries hurt, so hopefully he'll be back. And also, DK Metcalf was dealing with a grade 1 knee sprain. I think he's considered week to week. So those are a couple of key injuries I wanted to talk about here for fantasy, getting into fantasy football week 8. And there's more I'm going to be covering here on this channel. Okay, those are the ones that jumped out at me. All right, let's go through every position here and give you all the waiver wire considerations here. Let's dive in. With quarterback position, we got Tua. He's coming back. Could be a good option there if he's available on your waiver wire. Primed to get a ton of volume and work. Now, they were talking about him and possibly wearing the Guardian cap. He basically said, no, I don't want to wear it. Now, he's obviously at risk of concussion again. You definitely don't want multiple blows to the head, and the shots that he's taken were severe. Now, I've seen it in MMA. It's a rough sport. You definitely want to be protecting yourself. In this case, I recommend he does wear the Guardian cap. He doesn't. I don't know if it's ego, or I don't think he just feels like he needs one or whatever. But Tua's back and going to be back potentially, and it's going to be exciting to see him hopefully get back into good shape and bounce back after that, which is going to ripple down into the effect on Tyreek Hill, who's been absolutely crap in the bed, and the entire offense for that matter. So Tua hopefully going to be back. Going to boost up that entire offense. Drake May, definitely a consideration. Again, young player, especially in Dynasty, may want to consider. Bo Nix, who's now building a connection with his rookie receiver, Troy Franklin. And he only had like 10 points, Franklin did, but there could be something brewing there as well. But Bo Nix looking good all around, looking decent. Russell Wilson, coming off a hot week, definitely want to consider picking him up. And he looks like he's going to be the starter. Now, obviously, there was a couple throws in there coming back. You're going to be a little rusty. You haven't been on the field for I don't know how long, a year or whatever it was, on the actual, like in the actual live NFL game. And Russell Wilson came out and he showed up. Good on him. And this is why the Steelers were always saying that he's the starter. He's our guy. He's been getting it done. Oh, by the way, Deshaun Watson, I'm sure he's going to be out for a long time. I think it was an Achilles thing. Disaster there. So Jameson Williams, we got Jameson Winston. Sorry, Jameis Winston. What am I saying? Jameson Williams. By the way, that's another thing. Jameson Williams, 2-game suspension for performance enhancing drugs. I want to mention that. I had Jameson Williams on mine. Jameis Winston's another consideration for waiver wire, I should say. Russell Wilson, Bo Nix, Drake May, Tua, all considerations. Okay, moving on to the running back position. Alexander Madison could be a consideration there. It looks like he is kind of taking that job there. Zamir White just sucks. I take ownership. We can't get them all, man. I'm crushing it on Barkley. I'm crushing it on Henry. Allen's doing good. Brian Thomas Jr., Keon Coleman's even emerging out of all people, and on and on and on. My teams are doing really well. You can't get them all. Zamir White was my RB3 on a ton of teams, and he's crapped the bed. It is what it is. You can't win them all. So Alexander Madison is a consideration. Tyler Goodson or Trey Sermon, as long as Taylor continues to get hurt, may want to consider grabbing one of those guys. And Kendra Miller, whatever you want, also a consideration, okay? Running back, like I said, always slim and trim, always going to be issues there. And, this is why I say go running back heavy and make sure you get an ace running back. This position is going the way of the dinosaurs, man. I'm telling you. So that's why I'm so proud to have Saquon and Henry on a lot of my teams. Somebody say, you don't have Saquon and Henry? I do. Very simple to get them this year, guys. It was Saquon Barkley because I drafted from 8th to 12th position, and I was able to get Saquon because you know me, I like to go robust RB, so I got him. I avoided Gibbs in a lot of leagues, and I love Gibbs. He's great, right? We saw the injury to Montgomery. He came back, and there's a committee there. I love Gibbs. I got him in like one league, I think, and the thing is, the problem with Gibbs is I knew that I'd contend with Montgomery. The other guys I didn't. So I was going Saquon. I was coming back getting Henry on the turn in the second round. So yes, I do have them, and I posted my team on my Instagram fantasy football account. So check it out, okay? So running back, very hard to get. So that's why you got to go robust or bust. Wide receiver, Keon Coleman emerging. I think he's one of 3 rookies with 125 yards receiving in a game. I just read that stat. He's doing good. And I told you, man, unless Amari Cooper starts really learning the playbook and really get heavily targeted, Keon Coleman's going to get a lot more volume because now Amari is going to see the top corner. It's going to open things up for Keon. This is great. Now, this is what Keon wanted, and it's showing last game. Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, definitely considerations now with all these injuries. Ayuk out. Jennings definitely going to be a high target. You want to grab him. I can't believe that, I'm looking online for waiver wire pickups, seeing what everyone else is kind of doing, who they're targeting. And And again, I'm not, if you're listening to this channel, this is not a waiver wire pickup, but I always look to see what else the Kashifs are doing, see the BS they're doing. Romeo Doubs was listed as a waiver wire pickup. I'm like, dude, Romeo Doubs is the wide receiver 1. He should have been drafted. He's on all my teams, and I started in the past 2 weeks, and I'm doing really well. Romeo Doubs is the one, and we're seeing it now. I said this before, okay? Cedric Tillman and Troy Franklin, also some considerations here at the wide receiver position for waiver wire, okay? Let's keep going. Tight end here, nothing much here. Pat Freiermuth, Noah Fant, Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz, all considerations here at the waiver wire position for the tight end position. Now, I'm going to go through some defenses here. I'm going to pull up matchups and do this on the fly, who I kind of like this week. Looking at the week 8 matchups. I'll do this on the fly. I didn't write it down, but I am looking at it. I don't mind Baltimore. If you get Baltimore this week, they are playing Cleveland. They're an 11-point favorite. That's unbelievable. By the way, if you want my picks, guys, head on over to the Counselor's Edge. I think I missed like 3 picks or 4 picks against straight up this week. Crushed it this week. Did really well. Other teams you may want to consider, Houston versus Colts wouldn't be too bad. Packers versus Jags, Trevor Lawrence kind of on and off. Detroit versus Tennessee is a good matchup. I like Detroit there. Let's see if there's anybody else. Jets versus Patriots. I'm not really sold on Drake May. That's why the Jets are favored 7.5 in this matchup. That's interesting. Other matchups here that may be worth getting. Chargers versus the Saints. They're a bit of a disaster. They're banged up. I do like Buffalo versus Seattle. Not bad. Washington versus the Bears, but we don't know. Caleb Williams could be hot there. Denver versus Carolina could be a must-start defense as well off the waiver wire. And Pittsburgh versus the Giants. Pittsburgh, I've got them as my main team in my leagues. I've been very well. I mean, Watt is an absolute menace, okay? So there's some defenses there for you kind of on the fly. Again, I will be doing a starts and sits where I'll be doing more recommendations, breaking it down even further. Now, if you do have any questions, drop it below, smash it, tap it, slap it. I appreciate you guys. And of course, again, make sure you are following all my social media channels for breaking news, turning on the bell here so you stay on top of everything. I want you guys to win, and that's why I'm asking you guys to drop your questions, so I'll try to address as many as I can to help you guys with your teams, all right? Waiver Wire Week 8, I can't believe it's here. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the #1 Fantasy Football Podcast. I can't believe we are like halfway through the season. It is flying by. Appreciate ya. We'll talk soon. Have yourself an outstanding day.